Hello everyone. In this video, I want to explain about the function calls. Function calls are basically four categories are there: with void, with parameters, with void, without parameters, without void, with parameters, without void, without parameters. Here, what I mean by the void. So before to know about the void, we should know about the general data types. We have a data types like a integer type and a float type and the character type, character like C, comma, D, we have declared some variables. These data types are generally used to find out the type of data. So what is the type of this data? These two variables integers. So these are the real data. A comma B are real data because they are occupy some memory in our RAM or cache memory or register memory. So these storage data always should be a integer type. This variable storage data always should be a float type. These storage data always should be a character type. Now, in this way, we are referring the data type of a particular variable. Now that now how we can able to define the return type or any type of a one function. So now functions are not data. So it is a block of code. The block of code finally which return is some value to calling function. So that also described in the form of a data type. So now we have a return type value. It may be integer, it may be a float return type, it may be a character, and also by all the data types how we are using for the data, we can also apply for the return type for a function. Except there is a new one that is a void. Void. So the void by using the void, we cannot declare any variables in the declaration statement like that. We cannot declare like a comma b. In such a way, we are not declaring. So what do you mean by the void? Void means every function is returning something. If you don't want to return anything to the calling function, then we have to say that a null return value. It's mean that void if it is the return type for any particular function as a void, it is not returning anything to a calling function. So that is the meaning of void. If you are giving a return type like a some integer, now we could say this function will return a integer value to the calling function. If anything is a float declared um, a particular function means it is returning a float kind of data to the calling function. Like that, we can describe for integer, float, character, byte. But void means it is not returning anything to a calling function after executing of a particular block of code. So that is about the void. Based on this void, we are categorizing the function calls into four types: with void, without void, and every if with void, again with parameters, without parameters. So like that, we have a four categories. Let me explain with one example program. So all that four type of functions I will include in a one program. So this is a basic program to understand only the function calls. So here my main function return type is a void. So means main will not return anything to a compiler or operating system. So which explicitly we are telling that main will not going to be written anything to a compiler or operating system. So means function main also one function. So return type is a void. In case if you keep in front of the main, we should return something from the main. It may be a result of a one arithmetic expression, or else if you are not evaluating anything, generally we are writing return zero like that. Okay, now I have taken main is a main return type is a integer. We must be written something. So now here I am declaring some variables a comma b comma some x comma y. So we use that variable. The next I want to uh, and the values of a comma b. Let's use the a comma b values in our function call as a parameters. Okay. Now after this, the next statement can is pass to read the value of a comma b, address of a, address of b. Now we know that some values have read to the a comma b memory. The next, so let us call a some function. I want to call a add function. Add function according to the first category with void. with void should not return anything to a calling function main, but there are some parameters. There are some parameters. The parameters I am passing a comma b. Now these parameters are generally called as actual parameters. Actual parameters nothing but at the point of calling statement, we are including some variable values. Some values we are passing to the definition of a function. So a comma b are generally called as a actual parameters. I could write a comma b are actual parameters. Now, now it's not been closed the main function. First, I have call a one function. This function corresponding definition should be right after the main or before the main. Before the main. So now this is the first statement. First function call statement. So now the respective code control will search for the respective code for the add. So here I am writing the respective code after the main. I'm writing after the main. So now, what's the type? We are not going to be written anything to a calling function. Who is calling function? Main is a calling function. A called function is the add function. From this main, we are calling add function. The block of code of add after the main. So now the return type is void add. So what are the parameters we are passing? A comma b. Hold the values of a comma b. Now these are the values available in A memory and B memory. Now they are passing to the void definition. Void definition. To hold the values, we should declare a formal variables. They are like a int p comma int q. Variables are formally created or prepared or declared to hold the value of A for P, to hold the value of B in Q. Variables are whenever we throw a ball, some other side of the person should be catch the value. Similarly, the value of A is throwing from or passing from add function call statement. The value could be held by the one variable P, A to P, and B value held by the Q. So like that, the function call is invoked from this point. Whenever it is invoking, it is also passing two parameters, A comma B as the actual parameters. To hold the actual parameters, we have a formal parameter P comma Q. So now we can say P comma Q are formal parameters. So we could write these are the very important point P comma Q. Now, so after this, what we want to perform? We want to perform some addition. So directly I want to write the printf. So this is very simple program to. I want to make you understand only the function call, various type of functions call in a program. So generally, I just want to write some addition result is of a particular addition result P plus Q. That's it. Now it's a closing of program. It's not going to be written anything to a calling function. Who call this add function? Main function call the add function. So control, how the control will be flow. So control will execute the statements. One by one statements are executing, allocating memory for variables, then printf statement, then scanf statement. After that, there is a function call invoke from the statement. Then immediately control transfer to the definition of the add function. Control transmitted to here. Now control execute this block of code and return to the same location where actually the function invoke return after executing the entire block with return. If the return type is integer, whenever it is returning, it also transfer the value to here, but we are not returning any value from this function. We are just printing the output here itself. So without return value, the control transfer to the calling point. So this is because the return type of the function is a void. Then followed by I'm calling one more function like a subtraction function. We don't have even any parameter. I call you one function. Now the first function executed. Second statement followed by the next statement is a subtraction, calling a subtraction function. So now control is searching for the definition part of a subtraction. Now after this I am writing the subtraction code. So subtraction also it is also not returning any value. So we can write void subtraction where we don't have any parameter list. Now parameters are not passing from main function to the subtraction. Remember the terminology parameter passing. So whenever any parameters or actual parameters are passing from a main to definition part, that generally process called as a parameters passing. Now here we are not passing any parameters in subtraction function. So now then we came to the definition part. Now here only we have to declare the variable something like a I comma j variables are created from I value that I value 20 and j value is 5 colon and we are printing it is a void, we are not returning any value. Subtraction result percentile d comma I minus j. I minus j we are printing. So very simple program I am writing because my intention is to make you understand the function calls, not about the log, not about the program writing with complex statements. Okay. Now it's nothing but it's a second function also executed. Now third from the main followed by there is a one more function we want to call. The third function name is a multiplication. But here we are expecting some return value. That return value must be stored at x. So now x is equals to multiplication of already we have a four variables. We have four variables in a main function. We have a local two variables in add function. We have a two variables in subtraction function. Now the four local variables of main, out of them we are passing one a value, one more is a direct value. Here also we are passing the two parameter. One is a variable value, one more is a direct value from multiplication function. So here what happened? Then immediately control after subtraction, control will go back to the same location and will execute the next line. But next line is again a function call, multiplication function call. So control will search for the multiplication definition. So control again come to the multiplication definition part. So here we have a multiplication definition part. Now here we have, but it is a return type. There is a return type. How could you know that there is a return type? Because after performing the multiplication, the result must be assigned to a one variable. The variable is declared in integer type data. So multiplication also should declare should return a integer data. So now according to that, the return type is an integer. Now multiplication, the two parameters are passing. One is a, one more is a two. To hold the two parameters from this calling point where the function is invoking, there are two parameters are given. They are called as the actual parameters. Now actual parameters are transmitted along with the function call and replace in the as per the same order in the place of formal parameters. Now we are declaring some parameters u comma v into v. Okay. Now we want to perform the multiplication and also you should return the value. Now what is the u value will become? U value is equal to a. If a is equal to 10, then 10 is u. If a is equal to 20, then u value will become 20. So first parameter will replace a first actual parameter value will replace a first formal parameter. First second actual parameter will replace a second actual formal parameter like that. As per the sequence, the values of a comma 2 will replace it u comma v. If a is equal to 20, u will become 20. Okay, but what is the v value? V value is the direct value that is equals to 2 itself. Now we want to return something. We want to return because we are expecting return type. Directly, I'm returning the result of multiplication u into v. That's it. Now multiplication code completed. We are not printing over here. We are returning the result of u into v to corresponding function called position. Now function is called from there now. Now function will come to here. Okay, now if example, if you are entered a value is equals to 20, if a is equals to 20, sorry, a is equals to something like a 10, then what is the value of multiplication result? 10 into 2. So it is become a 20. Now x value will become a 20. So this is about function parameters with return value. So what is the next category? Parameters, but without parameters, without, let's close the main latter. So here I want to close the main. Okay, next function call is some y. Y is equals to division. Next call from the main division oh, with return time, but without parameter list. Without parameter list. There is a return time, but we are not passing any parameters. Now the data which are using to be using in a division function should be declared inside the definition. And after evaluating the result, the value should be returned to main function or calling function, because main is calling every function. Four functions are called by main itself. So main is called as a calling function. Add, subtraction, multiplication, division functions are called as a called functions. Now let's write the definition of division. So it is a return type. The return type is an integer type. So division, we don't have any parameter passing. We are not passing any value. So here only we have to declare them. Okay, na? So example, the variable names are e comma f. Okay, some e is equals to 20, comma f is equals to something like a 4. Okay, and now we are printing here itself the result of the division. Now division is percentile d comma e by f. E by f. Yeah, I'm writing very simple statement. My intention is to make you understand the function calls only. Okay, so this is about the division block. Now, how many blocks are there? Now, division block will be execute. Actually, the point of calling is a this statement y is equals to division. So, which invokes the function and will come to the control came to the definition part and execute the code, and finally it is returning. Actually, it is returning. It's a return type we have. So, but we don't have any variable data as a parameter passing. So, we should return the value, return E by F. We should return. Now, after evaluating, the control is returning the value and will reach to the same location where actually it is called. Okay, na? Now, main is a calling function calling four functions. Now, every function has their own block. For example, what is a block of add? This is a block of add. Okay. What is a block of subtraction? This is a block of subtraction. Okay. Now, what is a block of multiplication? This is a block of multiplication. Now, what is a block of division? This is a block of multiplication. These are the four user-defined functions. They will call based on their calling point, and all functions are calling from main function. So, total number of functions are five, including main. Total functions are five. User-defined functions, the called functions are four. Okay, uh, and every function has their own beginning point and closing point. Every function has their own beginning point and end point. So like that, we can able to create a call from main and execute the block of code in the function format. In the next video, I will explain more about the function calls.